Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Now, review slash thoughts on, and this review slash thoughts on is going to be for Xenoblade Chronicles for the PlayStation 1. There's some of you may be wondering, Scottish Duck, why are you doing a review slash thoughts on for a PS1 game? Well, my philosophy is this: if you're going to put more than 60 hours into any video game, you better do a video on it. With that said, here we go. Now guys, you remember when I played for Tales of the Abyss, you know, and I just absolutely fucking loved it for whatever reason? It really put me in a JRPG mood. You know, I went about, I was buying and playing a few JRPGs. So after Tales of the Abyss I went right on to Xenogears. Now, some of you might be wondering, and yes it is, wait a minute! Where is it? Where the fuck is it? I can't find it! Where are you? There you are! There, yes. It is in the same sort of like sub-series as Xenoblade Chronicles, which America is getting in a couple of months, so yay. Now, the Xeno series, yes it is a Xeno series, has a funny history, right? Because Xenogears, right, was owned by Square. Never came out in this country. Then they went on to, you guys haven't seen these yet, I haven't shown them in a collection update yet, but for some reason I've gotten so into the Gears series right now, Xeno series right now, that I've actually went out of my way to import these, okay? This is Xenosaga Episode 1, Xenosaga Episode 2, Episode 3. Blech. I haven't got around to picking up 2 yet, I've heard it's the worst, but I'll get round to it. But yeah, the Xenosaga trilogy, only the second one, the one that I don't have, was released over here. And that was considered the worst. I don't know why in the fuck they'd choose to bring that one over here. But yeah, this was owned by Namco. Namco Bandai, where we go. And now we're at Xenoblade Chronicles, which is owned by Nintendo. So yeah, the Xeno series has a real weird history right after that. Once I play all these games I might do a Xeno Rocks video, but this isn't a Xeno Rocks video even though I've given you the gist of the history of things, so whatever. Anyway, on to Xenogears. You can get this game on PlayStation Network, and that's how I got it, you know. I actually bought some American PSN cards and downloaded them. Downloaded Xenogears, and it was a lot more expensive than any other RPG on there for some reason, you know. I guess they thought they could cash in because it was so beloved, and that right there kind of got me excited, you know. It's like, oh, this game has to be amazing if they're charging, you know, X amount for it. So, I popped it in and played it, right, and I played it for about 8 hours or something, and I lost my save file, you know. I got up to a certain point, and then I sort of like gave up, and that's when I went on to Tales of the Abyss, actually. But I started again after Tales of the Abyss, and beat it, and yeah, it took me over 60 hours, and I really quite enjoyed it. It's about like, my god, this is actually hard. Alright, the first, how do I explain this, right? The first disc plays out like your typical standard JRPG, you know, you've got party members, you go from place to place, seeing these different story events, you know, you've got your love story, you've got your story about betrayal, you've got your, like, evil empire and stuff like that, and it plays out like typical RPG, yeah. But, then it gets to the second disc, which is kind of shorter, I guess, and the storytelling mechanics kind of all change, you know. I really don't want to spoil too much, but it just changes, and by God, guys, this is definitely one of the wordiest games I've ever played, okay? And, you know, you're sitting there, you know, clicking through all the text, because obviously it's all text, it's not fully voiced. You're clicking through all the text, and it gets to be as long as Metal Gear Solid at times. I'm not kidding. There's so much exposition and so much backstory to this, it's fucking insane. Like, right now there's things about the story that I could tell you. I'm like, they just sort of happened, and no doubt there was some really deep meaning towards it, but I'm just like, huh? I can't read, you know, stuff like that. But regardless, you know, the sort of core story, you know, of wanting to beat the bad guy and whatnot, that was all well and dandy and, you know, motivated me to keep going. What else? There was something else I wanted to talk about it, story-wise. Oh yeah, very rarely throughout the game you'll come across like some anime cutscenes, and they're actually really, really well done. I mean, the anime art style and all that was just superb. You know, you don't see that pretty much at all in like other standard animes. It just, to this day, it looks like really good. I'm just a real big fan of that. But overall, you know, the story in Xenogears was good. Apparently, like, there's this book, and I don't know, that you can buy. It was like sort of a collectible. It was an art book, and there was like this big story explanation about it. So if you really wanted to get the gist of Xenogears, you'd have to read all that. I've not read all that, and I don't really plan to, but just letting you know for the sake of it. And right, graphic-wise, I gotta say, it has to be one of the best looking PS1 games I've ever seen. I mean, just graphically, you know, you just look at it and you compare it to things like, you know, the original Metal Gear Solid or Spyro the Dragon, which in my opinion were like the best looking games on that console, and it's just... wow, that is really well. It's actually the exact opposite of a Final Fantasy VII, where it had pre-rendered backgrounds and polygonal characters. Xenogears has, you know, like, polygonal backgrounds, which you can rotate the camera about, but your characters are primarily, you know, sprites. Kind of like Grandia 1, if anybody played that, that's what it looks like. But yeah, graphically it's actually really amazing, you know, considering it's on the PS1 of course, but definitely one of the best I've ever seen, you know, for that. The music is also spectacular, you know, I was on YouTube listening to the music and that, it was just, it was so good. Definitely recommend it, you know, just as good, yeah, just, I don't know if I'd say better, but just as good as Xenoblade, which, if any of you have been listening to that soundtrack, you should, because it's fucking amazing. Combat, you know, like, obviously it's an RPG, it's going to have the combat. You've got two different types. You've got, you know, typical in a mech thing. The mechs are called gears, by the way, and, you know, you just go about hitting things, and you can build up combos and stuff. And, it's kind of the same thing when you're on foot, you know, playing as your regular party members, you know, you just build up combos, and I don't know, I actually can't be arsed explaining the battle system, it's a bit complicated, or at least, yeah, I just can't be arsed explaining it. But it was good, it was good, it was typical turn-based affair, you know, but well executed regardless. I actually want to just point out here, when I got to the last boss, I actually said fuck it and went on a walkthrough, and I completely broke the game. I went on like these side missions and found these items that are hidden that really just make you, you know, way, way, way overpowered for the last boss. You know, I just didn't give a shit. I love that feeling, you know, just dominating over a boss fight. That's something that makes an RPG really good. Anything else I want to talk about? I don't know, this was a really badly planned review / thoughts on, wasn't it? What do you expect from a game that came out like, what, 15 years ago-ish? Yeah, but 15 years ago. But, okay, I've gushed about it enough. I wouldn't really put it up there as one of my favourites, to be honest, but it was really, really good, you know. I'd actually say the same thing about Final Fantasy VII, you know. A lot of you all know that I don't put Final Fantasy VII in mega, mega high praise and people want to chop off my head for it. But yeah, Xenogears is amazing. I would definitely download it on PS1 if you can. And more to the point, you know, if you haven't picked Xenoblade up yet, you know, go for it. Because it really is... That's another thing, actually. Xenoblade seemed to really borrow from Xenogears. There were just some story elements that were pretty similar, especially near the end. Obviously I'm not going to talk about them, but for anybody who's played both games, which is actually... people who've played both games must be in the real minority there, because, you know, Xenoblade... No. Xenogears was only released in America. Well, obviously they were released in Japan, but only America. This, at this point, has only been released in the UK. It is so weird how the Xeno series did a 180 there. It blows my mind, you know. Xenogears, not in the UK. The Xenosaga trilogy, not in the UK, apart from the second one, which is pish. And then there's Xenoblade, which was supposedly not even going to make it to the States. It's... whatever. That's all, guys. I hope this review was informative and gave you a better outlook on whether or not you should buy this game. Probably didn't, but anyway. See you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.